your host, Rodrick Swift, and boy, do I have the Swift sauce for you. Musicians Matters Podcast, live right here, Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on all digital platforms on Positive Power, 21 Christian Media, LLC. Let's go!
Welcome to the Musicians Matters Podcast Live, Takeover Podcast on Demand, Session 775 with Bruce Harper. If you missed any of our podcasts, you can go to Positive Power 21 Christian Media LLC on the Weekend Channel or Spotify or Google Play or Spreaker, etc. Or my website, drummersunitedinternational.com, and tap on the Musicians Matters Podcast. Blessings to Five Core, the gas station recorder studio, music lessons, Las Vegas, and Fire Public Education's Las Vegas, and Rescue Fire Prevention. Let's welcome our guest, legendary Bruce Harper, the master of the big band. Hey, Unc, what's going on?
Hey, Swifty.
How's your day today?
Well, just kind of recuperating a little bit. Playing those shows is fairly demanding, and if we were doing it every night, 2 shows a night, we would be up to it. And if we were 25 years old.
You're right about that. Y'all was really swinging last night.
Oh, thank you. You know, we used to do that back in the 80s when I was playing a lot of shows on the Strip. We played 2 shows every night, and but we were really young and we were up for it, you know. And but now just 1 show every few months, and it's like, wow. You know it. I mean, we don't feel it when we're on the bandstand, but once you get off the bandstand, you can tell you've had a workout.
Yes, I can see that. Let's talk about that show last night. What do you think about the show? What was your pros and cons about last night's show?
Well, I thought overall it was one of the best shows we've ever done. We had a new bass player. He was the first bass player that I ever had on my band back 40 years ago, and I've played with him. We've toured the world together in bands, and we've been on several different bands together through the years. But let's see, he played on the band again around 2004, and but he hadn't played on my band since then, and so we've all grown as musicians, and so he told me back before Christmas that he wanted to come back on the band, and so his addition was a huge lift for the whole band. He is a tremendous world-class bass player, and he plays, some bass players I've played with, their sound is kind of boomy, and this guy, his sound is full, but you can hear every beat that he's playing, and it's easy for the rhythm section to line up with that, and so when the rhythm section's all lined up together, that lines the whole band up, and so I thought the whole thing was really swinging.
I could tell that it was one of the best I've seen as I've been coming there. Everybody was on point. Everybody was like right on the dot. I was like, wow. What I liked about it is I liked that time that you gave him as a solo session. What was that song that you give him when they were singing?
Gosh,
I think that was the fourth song. I just found out about love.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a hardcore swinger, and that was written by I believe by Don Menza. He's a great sax player and an arranger, and he's one of my favorites. And he writes stuff that the band can really sink its teeth into and swing hard. And Jeff Davis, he's the bass player. He really dug into that, and the whole band did. I thought that one in particular was electric.
Yeah. As far as the audience, did you read your audience? How did you like the audience when they was there at the place?
Well, I usually pick up on the audience, and I get a general idea if they're into it or not. Most of the time, thank the Lord, they are into what we're doing. And I thought last night they were particularly excited and really into what we were doing.
You're right about that.
Thank you.
Let's go. As far as long as I'm singing the song, the first song, how did that come about? Who thought about that song? Did you think about that song, or did the singer think about that song?
Where that song came from was from about 1959. Bobby Darin sang that song and had a hit on it, and so it kind of has gotten forgotten through the years. But I found it on YouTube, and one of my best friends, who's passed away about a year ago, wrote this arrangement for us, and so we use it as an opener every once in a while, and it's real positive and upbeat sounding thing, and so we like playing it, especially as an opener.
When you first starting, or when you in your session, do you ever get the heebie-jeebies in your stomach or whatever? Do you get nervous or whatever when you start your sessions?
You know what? I do a few days before it.
Wow.
And I've done this my whole career. Anytime I was going to go play a show, you kind of get the butterflies a little bit, but that goes along with it. And all performers are like this. And it just goes along with it. And it's not really a nervousness. It's just an excitement that comes over you, and it kind of prepares you mentally, and it makes you like get on edge where you're really ready, and mentally and physically you're ready to do this thing and perform to your best ability. And it's just a thing. And when you're young, like when I was real young, I didn't ever even think about anything like that. I'd play and solo in front of people, and I never even thought about it. I was never nervous. When you're young, you don't know you should be nervous, And
right.
The older I got, and this happens to everybody, when you're performing, you start kind of getting a little bit nervous, especially when the spotlight's on you, and it is on me as the leader and the drummer. And so I get a little keyed up, and but as soon as I walk on the bandstand, and as soon as the first number starts, I'm in my zone, and I don't even think about it anymore. I just get into it and just be myself and let it all go, and I'm in that zone, and I'm not nervous anymore.
That's good. That's really good. Now, give some good tips or some good keys to an upcoming drummer that wants to be in the big bands area or era, or want to be a drummer. Let them know what they need to know.
Well, I think what I did when I was really young, my dad used to bring home big band records, and I was listening to rhythm and blues on the radio all the time, and that's kind of what I grew up with. And so I was into that too. And but my dad would bring home these big band records, and so I started playing the drums along with them. And then I got into middle school, and they had a band, a jazz band, and so I started playing in that. And so it just kind of kept my interest, and then from then on, I was really into the big band thing. And when I started, stereo earphones hadn't even been invented yet. Okay. I'm dating myself. And so my dad, he was in World War II, and he went to the Army Navy store and bought some pilot's earphones and brought them home and wired them up and wired them up to my record player where I could hear the music through those. And that's how I started. I was like in elementary school then. And so I would put these big band records on that he brought home, and I'd play through those earphones, you know. And then later on, I got some real earphones when they started making those. And so I continued on. Even through when I came out here, I used to practice to the records a lot. I don't anymore, but I really learned to play big band through playing along with the records. And, you know, and then, you know, through the years, I've studied different things like how to play the ride cymbal, you know, because when you're playing rock, you're playing more straight 8 time, where it goes like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and da 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 with the ride cymbal or hi-hat. And what's different about the big band is that the ride beat for you can play it on the hi-hat or the ride cymbal, but it goes ding, ding, da ding, ding, da ding, ding, da ding, da ding, da ding. It's more of a ba ba da 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 type of a feel, and the whole music is involved with that. And it takes a little practice, and so I used to work on things where I would read music, and my instructor at the time would have me go down the page and play these things, and he would have me play it swing, and it would be like ba ba da ba da da ba da ba da ba 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 da, and then I'd go down the bottom of the page, and without stopping, I'd go right back to the top of the page and play it straight, ba da 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 ba da 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 da, that type of thing. And so I got used to the feel of the swing beat versus the straight 8-note rock type beat. So I think that's important for young drummers, is to get into both those kinds of feels, because you never know, you know, different musicians are into different things, and it's always good to try to be open, because you might be playing rock all the time, then all of a sudden some guys that are into swinging or playing shuffles, that's another form of swing, they might want to play some of that. And if you have an idea about how that goes, I think it can really benefit you, you know. And here I am. I've played music my entire life, and I've played all kinds of different music. And that's why I really moved to Las Vegas, because I had a lot of different things that I'd played all these years growing up, and I thought I was fairly versatile, and that's what you needed to be able to do to play shows in Las Vegas. So I moved out here, and I kept working on everything. I've never stopped practicing and working on all these things, and music is so much in depth that you never learn everything there is to know about music. I constantly, and it's not just the drumming part, it's the music part, learning dynamics and how the music is going to flow and the dynamics of it, and it's kind of like a little roller coaster kind of a thing, because it gets quiet and then it gets loud, and I like to have dynamics in my playing where I'm playing whisper soft and then bam, it's like loud, and that gets me going. That excites me, and I grew up with that too. Where I played in college, they emphasized that, and I would listen to other drummers that I admired, and I would pick that up from them, and so I think the young drummers, they need to be able to play rock and a little Latin, a little rock, and be able to play some swing too. I think that's very important.
You're right about that, because like basically when I started playing in the churches, I don't only play in the church. I can play anywhere else. Like I can play jazz, I can play blues. I started playing blues, with the church, because church is basically built off of blues. But then when you get into the choir situation, then you can start opening basically stepping out of the box. I'm just telling you how it goes. Basically, you can step out of the box when you stepping into the choirs, but then when you doing quartet music, it's 1 and 2, like you said, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2. Stuff like that. Yeah. It's like that. Yeah. You basically got to change it. So it's very interesting. Like fun. Say for instance, it's very fun. Like say for instance, when you plan for a different type of church or a different type of say for instance. Certain churches, they have rhythms that is mellow, like you're talking, like mellow or jazz rhythms, or something that you can go up and down. Like the church that I grew up in, Pentecostal church. Yeah. Okay. We was always rocking, unless it was a slow song.
Right.
So, and then when I went to start playing for Baptist churches, that's when I got the opportunity to step out of the box and see different types of the rhythms that I can, work my hands and stuff like that. Speaking of working the hands, yes, it was very interesting. Very interesting, and I'll never give that up for nothing.
Yeah, right. Yep. And swinging. There's a general idea about how to swing, but almost every musician has a little bit different take on that. and they started to get their own little groove going, and it's close to that, but it's not precisely in that. And so my job as a drummer, I have to lay this feel down that's in my heart, and because I'm the leader, and the drummer's usually responsible for laying down what is going to be the gospel of the beat that we're going to play in this band. So everybody, you know, they kind of have their own idea about how it should go, but then they got to like get into what I'm doing. And the more we play together, then we become a band, and we get it together. You know, play together.
Sweet Georgia Brown, when you did that last night, it was amazing. Oh my goodness! Tell us about that a little bit, because it changed a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked about that. I just got that from a friend of mine, and he is the director of arranging and the composition at the University of Texas, where I went to school. And he happens to be a drummer, too, a fine drummer, I found out. But he writes these great arrangements. And he wrote this arrangement on Sweet Georgia Brown. So I've played that with different bands over the years, and it's always fun. And sometimes I would start it off with that rim click thing, like the Harlem Globetrotters do. The lick-the-dick, 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 you know, that little thing they got going on. And I've done that with different bands. But he said, I got something that your band might really like. So he sends me this. And so he sent me a little recording of it. And so I started listening to it, and the first part of it sounded kind of like I'd played it a lot of times before. And then all of a sudden, it goes into this like really modern, hip kind of a thing. It's, you know, it's like, I don't even know how to describe it, kind of a bebop line. And,
right.
And the singer, my singer, NAOMI, she sings along with the lead line on that. And it just changes that song completely. And that's why I really like it. Plus, the band had a little sing-along stuff. You know,
I've seen that. I was listening to that.
Yeah, and the band would go, Sweet Georgia, you know, and I've never had a band that would do a little vocal thing. And, you know, sometimes the band might scoff at that a little bit. You know, they don't like doing that so much, but they didn't say a thing. They got right into it and didn't bat an eye. And because it surprised me the first time we played it. You know, because of that next section, the bebop section, you know, when that comes in, you're like, wow, okay, this is really neat. It's different, and it seemed to go over. And my singer, when she first started, she told me in an email, she said, I really like that. So you heard the result last night. You thought it was pretty good?
I thought it was amazing. I really liked the part. That's one of the things that I caught was when they was the band was singing along with NAOMI. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of different. Yeah, very effective, I think.
I was like, wow. You know, there's certain things that musicians listen for, and I caught that right away. Right away.
Yeah, it's different, especially coming from us. We've never done that before.
Wow. So out of all of those 17 songs, which songs did you like out of those 17 songs?
Well, that was one of my favorites. Actually, all of them are my favorites, and that's I'm so lucky being the leader. I can pick all of this stuff, and I get to play all my favorite stuff, and that's the greatest thing about being the leader, because I pick all this music, and occasionally somebody will recommend something, and I'll listen to it, and if I love it, I'll find it and either have it arranged or I can find an arrangement already on it. But one of the things I really liked that I had just gotten, and it was arranged by the same guy that wrote the Sweet Georgia Brown arrangement. It was The End of a Love Affair, which is a beautiful melody, and it's kind of an up-tempo thing, and it featured my trumpet player, Billy King, and it also featured Kurt Miller, my lead trombone player. And it's kind of long. It's many pages longer than most of the charts, and but I really enjoyed playing that, and I thought the band did a great job on it. So, but like I said, almost every single thing that we played are all my favorites.
I was noticing with your trombone player, there was one song that when he had he didn't have he was muffling on that one song. It was sounding very low. Did you know what song that was? It was very interesting.
You know, I'm not sure which song that was. That was probably Isaiah Butler.
Yeah,
and
I think
he plays on the Count Basie band.
Wow, that song was very, very touching, really nice. The reason why I liked it because it was like he was able to take the muffled sound off of the brass basically, and as he did that, it turned to a regular sound. You know, it was really awesome when he did that.
Yep. Yeah, that's why he's the lead trombone player on the Count Basie Orchestra.
Wow.
He just moved here. He just moved here about 6 months.
You got some heavy hitters.
Yeah, everybody in the band is a heavy hitter.
Wow.
I'm happy to say.
And I'm glad to join the board, just to be there and sitting there and watching as one of your guests. That just makes me feel special, and grateful that somebody thought about me. Just come and just sit in the show and talk about your show, as we finish the show. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Well, but we're always happy to have you come.
Amazing. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. But before we go, we're about to end the show now, but before we go, tell the world something positive that they can live off of and bless the world.
Well, when you're down and out and things aren't going right, music will always bring your heart up. So if you turn on some music or go to a concert where they're playing good music, it will lift you up, and I highly recommend that. Everybody should start their mornings off not watching TV, but just turn on some music that you enjoy, and that will lift your heart up. And that's my recommendation for everybody.
Awesome. Unc, you're always welcome on this show. Always. Anytime.
I appreciate that very much.
Awesome. Thank you. I would like to thank my underwriter, Jerry Royce, Live, Positive Power 21 Christian Media, LLC, for providing the airways and the platform for this session. And it says, dignity had always gotten us through. It was a choice, and not always the easy one, but the people I respected the most in life made it again and again and again every single day. That's Madam Michelle Obama. God bless.
Join me as your host, Rodrick Swift, and boy, do I have the Swift sauce for you. Musicians Matters Podcast, live right here, Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on all digital platforms on Positive Power, 21 Christian Media LLC. Let's go!